Blinking flashing. So what? I get my car sorted out. Something's definitely flashing. On again. PAYOUT sensor. Some of the things, when you look at something, it's like, yeah, times like, again. There's a PAYOUT sensor. I think it's PAYOUT sensor's triggering, but the LED lighting, there's nobody here now.
Boy.
There was.
Word up, Jimmy, now then.
Jimmy.
Don't worry, Mike, Jim LL fix it.
Jim, fix it.
Who S was here yesterday when Mike was in the hotel banging music? Hello, Mr. Mike. Wank.
I was in bed
Let
asleep
us
last
get
night.
you sore tonight, Mike.
I was asleep last night, to tell you, I was tired. Right, yeah, somebody else walks past, PAYOUT sensor, guess what happens? Cheap light, cheap electronics, that's the electronic power supply failed. Hence why you see a light flashing, which is LED, it's failed. What do I know? Nothing. I know absolutely nothing because I'm thick, yeah. Anyway, where are we going?
Mike on OnlyFans, let us have it.
OnlyFans? We're not on OnlyFans, we don't deal with OnlyFans, and do you want me to tell you why? It's negative.
You said it.
I did not say it.
Mike fell asleep in the hotel after being in it for 15 minutes. Mike, what are your plans for tonight?
My plans tonight is to date as many women as possible. It's not no at all. I need to do a programming, to be fair. Yeah.
Show us your prick, Mike. Mike needs to get a real job 9 to 5. Heard you full snuck a bloke in last night pretending to be asleep.
I was flat out, wasn't I? I fell asleep, I didn't get changed. Fully clothed, and I was asleep. Woke up about 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, let us get some pussy.
I think it was like 2 in the morning actually, I woke up.
You looked cute when you were asleep, Lil Mike.
Little Mike. I'm 6'2". Not quite as little as people make out to be, but anyway. What's the point? What is the plan? The plan is,
Honestly, there is not a single woman on earth who is ready for you, Mike.
it's 'cause they're all
Why
mental.
did your channel name, mate? Still wearing that sleeping bag. Mike always splashing out his PIP and universal credit on hotels. Little Mike is cute. Good evening, Mike. Farty Ham said, did you enjoy your single bed, mate? Mike, I'll bum you if you bum me.
Oh right, we need to head off actually, to be fair, yeah. We've got shit to do tonight. Shit to do.
Mike saw Superior and thought, holy fuck, that suits me, gets a single bed. Jam it up the poop shoot. Mike, ring up job centre, ask for an increase in your monies.
Shall I phone the job centre now?
Eggy fart a suey cloudy, 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 fart a suey cloudy, eggy fart a suey cloudy.
Shall I try it?
Welcome to the Job Centre Inquiry Line, part of the Department for Work and Pensions. This is a free call. The call may be recorded today, and we will treat your personal information. To learn about your information rights and how we use information, please see our Personal Information Charter at gov.uk. To help us answer your query as quickly as possible, please have your reference or national insurance number ready, and any personal details to hand. If your call is about universal credit, press 1. For anything else, please press 2. If you want to view your statement, check the day of your next payment, tell us about any changes, add notes to your journal, or, if you want to see your claimant commitment and to-do list, you can do all of this and more on your online account. It's available 7 days a week. Go to gov.uk and search for Sign into your Universal Credit account. If you still need to speak to us about Universal Credit, please press 1, otherwise please press 2. Welcome to Universal Credit. This is a free call. Your call will be recorded. We will treat your personal information carefully and we may use it for any of our purposes. To learn about your information rights and how we use information, please see our Personal Information Charter at www.gov.uk. At DWP, we are committed to keeping everyone safe and secure, and treating all with kindness and respect. We all have a part to play in this, and unacceptable behavior of any kind will not be tolerated. Please listen carefully to all the options as they have changed. If you're calling about a Universal Credit appointment, press 1. For any other Universal Credit query, choose 2, or to apply for an advance payment, press 3.
Advance.
In a moment I'll ask you to enter some personal information which helps us direct your call to the right place. Please have with you the telephone number, postcode, street name and date of birth, recorded on the account. If you're calling on behalf of someone else, please remember to enter their information when asked. Okay, first I'll ask you to enter the telephone number that's recorded on your Universal Credit account. If you
So when we talk about GDPR, it's now saying if you're phoning on behalf of somebody else, please tell me their information. Do you know what I mean? I feel like the UK government needs shooting in the face, because like some of the questions and some of the answers that they're asking for is ridiculous. You make a phone call to an automated system, yeah? Fine, accepted. I don't care if it's changed, because I'm phoning at this time. So at the end of the day, I'm going to phone and answer at that time. So if they changed, I don't care, so it's pointless. But even to get through to the right department, I've not even got through to a department and they're asking me for personal information. I don't know. The whole world's broken.
Sue. CK.
Honestly, it's madness.
Die. Ahaha, Mike, couldn't he be bothered to get through and check his Universal Credit? CK.
Do you know what I mean? It's saying to me about going to a website and checking my account. If I haven't got a job, I need a job. I haven't got a smartphone. No access to the internet. Do you know what I mean? It's just so bad. You know. Hello, I'm an immigrant. I came on a boat.
Mike, you will miss your appointment tomorrow.
You know what I mean? We'll go back to the hotel that you stay in and ask them guys there. Okay. I need some more money. All right, no problem at all. It's £10 here.
Where is my Fukin payout?
Well, exactly.
Michael, are you wearing a black t-shirt under the coat again? Mike getting Universal Credit sanction now. Mike, you looked real cute cuddling your pillow last night, LMAO. Get an advance, Mike, lol.
Tried to get an advance, but they said no. Anyway.
Hot. Your mobility car need a service. Free payment for Mike. Millionaire, right? Right.
I look at it, you know.
Mike, what's S benefits for a new chin?
Look at all the nice buildings. Look at all the nice
I'm Papa Pat,
buildings.
Michael Jackson, Harry Till, Alban Stenrose, MJ, your hand, pink waving face, red heart shape 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 face, red heart shape. Michael, are you on the dole? Mike's paid too much tax, give him a fucking payout. Do you do shem shem?
Should I phone back?
Goofy.
Welcome to the Job Centre inquiry line, part of the Department for Work and Pensions. This is a free call. Your call may be recorded today, and we will treat your personal information carefully.
Oh yeah.
To learn about your information rights and how we use information, please see our Personal Information Charter at gov.uk. To help us answer your query as quickly as possible, please have your reference or national insurance number ready, and any personal details to hand. If your call is about universal credit, press 1. For anything else, please press 2. If you want to view your statement, check the date of your next payment, tell us about any changes, add notes to your journal, or, if you want to see your claimant commitment and to-do list, you can do all of this and more on your online account. It's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Go to gov.uk and search for Sign into your Universal Credit account. If you still need to speak to us about Universal Credit, please press 1, otherwise please press 2. Welcome to Universal Credit. This is a free call. Your call will be recorded. We will treat your personal information carefully and we may use it for any of our purposes. To learn about your information rights and how we use information, please see our Personal Information Charter at www.gov.uk. At DWP, we are committed to keeping everyone safe and secure, and treating all with kindness and respect. We all have a part to play in this, and unacceptable behavior of any kind will not be tolerated. Please listen carefully to all the options as they changed. If you're calling about a Universal Credit appointment, press 1. For any other Universal Credit query, choose 2, or to apply for an advance payment, press 3. Sorry. In a moment I'll ask you to enter some personal information which helps us direct your call to the right place. Please have with you the telephone number, postcode, street name and date of birth, recorded on the account. If you're calling on behalf of someone else, please remember to enter their information when asked. Okay, first I'll ask you to enter the telephone number that's recorded on your Universal Credit account. If you're calling on behalf of someone else, remember to enter the telephone number recorded on the account you're calling about. If you know this phone number, press 1, otherwise, choose 2. Now, can you tell me your postcode? For example, BS142CF. Remember, if you're calling for someone else, use their postcode. Please say your postcode now.
Heaven.
Please say your postcode now.
Heaven.
Please say your postcode now.
Heaven?
Okay.
Good afternoon, I'm through to Universal Credit. My name is Ramesh. How can I help you?
Hello, it's Mikey. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, all good, all good. I'm just actually giving you a courtesy call, and I've actually lost my job today. So I was wondering how I can sign on to get a payout, and how much I get paid per week.
Sure. Are you inquiring about your Universal Credit payment?
Say again, sorry?
Are you inquiring about your Universal Credit payment weekly?
So I can claim weekly? Did you?
Okay, let me go through your account first. Can you confirm your last name, please?
It's Mouse.
Can you spell it for me?
Mouse.
Can you confirm your postcode, please?
It's Heaven.
Your postcode.
Yeah, Heaven.
Your postcode number.
Yes, H. It's Heaven. It's Cloud 9, Heaven.
So it's not a valid postcode. Can you please confirm the postcode?
Okay, yeah, it's Heaven.
Heaven. Heaven.
Yeah, and it's Cloud 9.
So this is not a valid postcode. We cannot access your account.
Okay, it's because I haven't got an account yet, so that's why I'm phoning up to ask about it. I've never ever claimed any benefits before, so unfortunately I lost my shit today with my boss, and my boss has fired me. So yeah, I need a job. So I thought I'd give the job centre a call to get a job, but it brought me through to claiming benefits, if that makes sense. Does it make sense? Or maybe it doesn't make sense.
Now you want to make a new claim, right?
Well, I'd like a job. So can I get a job like you? Obviously you've got a job, so did you give the job centre a call and get a job?
But if you have, we don't advise regarding that one. So if you have any queries about the universal credit account, so we can help you.
Okay, so I've called. There's this thing called the job centre, like job, meaning if you define the word job, it means job, and the centre means that you give out jobs. Is that not correct?
Okay.
So if I'm phoning you and asking you for a job, surely I would expect it's black and white and simple. It'll be yes sir, no problem at all. We have 450,000 jobs available. Is that not the case now?
You will understand, but we don't help regarding the jobs. But if you have any queries about your universal credit accounts, we can help you.
Okay, I don't have an account with you guys because I don't claim benefits. I've never claimed benefits in the UK. I've been a worker all my life. But unfortunately today, my mouth and my tongue got the better of me. And yeah, I told my boss that I no longer liked him, and he said, right, well, on that basis, you're fired. So yeah, I've lost my job today, so I thought I'd give you guys a call to get a new job. But I'll do my best, I promise you, I'll do my best in the future that I'll be very nice and that I won't tell my boss to, yeah, I won't lose my shit with him next time. So if you can give me a new job, I'd appreciate it, and then obviously I would then be employed, so I can continue on paying taxes in the UK.
We understand, but we cannot help you regarding the jobs, but we only help with the claims, queries only.
Okay, so there's no, so are you saying that in the UK now there's no jobs available? So does that mean that everyone claims now? Is that how it works?
So we cannot advise you about the jobs. I'm saying that. So this is regarding the universal credit helpline numbers. So if you have any queries about the universal credit, we can help you.
Okay, fine. Well, okay, fine. Just out of interest, can I ask you a question? How much do I get per week if I was to enroll on, is it the job centre, or is it on, what's it called now? I don't even know what it's called these days.
Yeah, it depends upon the different circumstances, and it depends upon the individual.
Okay, fine. Well,
so we cannot.
Okay, so I'm male, I'm age 36, I'm straight, and yeah, I've worked from the age of 16 all the way up to 36. So because I've done that, does that mean that I can, like, do I get a job, or can I claim benefits now, or I can even give you,
So if you don't have any job, and if you want to request for the universal credit benefit, you can claim, you can start a new claim with the universal credit, and the case manager will check your information, and based on your individual circumstances, that they will decide you how much you will get benefits.
Okay, fine. Well, can I add to my profile then? So I wear super dry boxers. They're small because I've got a small waist. But however, I am 6'2", so I do have a big penis. So if you add that to my profile, I'm age 36, I'm male, I have obviously worked all my life, I've paid a lot of tax to the UK system, and at the moment, I've currently got no job now because of what's just happened in the last hour. So yeah, maybe you could help me out and maybe build me a profile, and then obviously, you know, maybe you can get me a job. Maybe you could send out my profile to employers and see where we go from there.
Okay, you can ask at the job center, so they can help you regarding this information.
The job. I phoned the job centre, yeah. So it's why I'm phoning. You know, you advertise out, don't you? You have these like expensive buildings which got green signs outside saying job centre. Obviously, to be realist about it, like you've obviously gone down the route of buying buildings of quite substantial amounts of buildings across the UK. You put green signs outside of them with taxpayers' money, and yeah, you go down the route of handing out taxpayers' money. You don't really give jobs out now, do you? So, but however, I must admit, as a business, as a real estate business, you are making a lot of money on real estate because, again, you bought the buildings out of taxpayers' money, and the buildings are all going up in value. So, yeah, I guess you've done really well as a business.
Okay, so if you have any queries, I can help you. So if you don't have any queries about the universal credit, so you can disconnect the call, okay? Thank you for calling universal credit.
No, put the phone down. Yeah, well, I kind of like knew it would go a bit sour, to be fair, yeah.
NPC.
So basically, you've got a foreigner and
Lol, who was that?
some sort of guy.
Case closed.
Well, looks like
You
it.
bored him to death.
Well,
Actually apply with details. Don't worry, Mikey, you make money on these streams, so I guess streaming is your full-time job now. Big penis, you fucking lied, Mike. Done well to last that long. Oh no. Mike, you have a small penis. In jobless son, I got S big penises, haha. Mike, ring back, give fake postcode. Mike, this Ranjit Singh from DWP, please refrain from harassment or I will contact the police.
oh my
Lol.
God, it makes me laugh.
Lol.
Makes me laugh, honestly. It's the truth, though.
Mike, that was an embarrassment.
It was the truth. What
Might
I
be
said,
calling Samaritans next.
what I said was the truth.
Already lying on his fucking profile, ha ha ha. Jobless with a big penis, ha ha ha. Please call back and grill them, I'll make them earn their pay.
You see my point. What I said there was factually
Call back,
correct.
say you were Keir Starmer of 10 Downing Street. Big penis on your forehead.
They make money off real estate. That's the whole idea. Taxpayers' money, real estate.
Mikey, have you been fired for real? Ha ha. Mike Coxlong. Lol.
What, find myself?
Mike, you got this, bud.
Anyway. Hello. I find myself from work today. Shall I say that to you?
Jobless and chinless.
Well, exactly. Well,
Yeah, Hoth, he got into trouble with his mouth and a big penis.
Ah, God. You couldn't really have said that. I couldn't have said that if it was a female on the phone. I would actually have refrained myself from saying
It's true and it's S-cropping. Job Centre Plus is the new and improved Job Centre. And tongue. You suck a big penis. Hey Mikey, where are we delivering food today? Ring the Pip line, Mike. Steer the wheel with your big penis, Mike.
Pip.
Mike, I won't lie, I didn't have a fucking clue what he said. Yes, call Pip. Turn this fucking shit voice off. Mikey, I missed the male voice again. I could not understand him. Be grateful you don't have to deal with Universal Credit Mike in real life. Worst prank call ever.
I'm surprised he actually didn't. I'm surprised he
Pip
tolerated
for
me.
anxiety and depression from TTS.
The minute
Me
I
neither,
said,
I could not understand a word.
the minute I said heaven.
Have you considered having a drink with your driving? Shikawa Karlakioya 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 Shikawa Karlakioya. Best prank call ever. Universal Credit and the Job Center is literal mental torture. Chuck some sauce on that hole. You should never have mentioned your penis, lol.
Yeah, I think that's
Thanks for the clip, Mike. Farty ham clips are growing, ha ha ha. I am going to have to rewind this. I would catch you up in a bit. Mammoth chinless, mammoth chinless.
It is a joke though, isn't it, really?
Ring Pip, apply for anxiety and depression, Mike. See how easy it is.
Mike.
Hey Mike, I ordered Chinese over an hour ago. Can you speed it up or what?
The thing about it is, I don't really want to waste people's time in relation to, let's say, for instance, doctors, nurses, NHS, because obviously they're overstretched. People like the job centre who are giving out money left, right, centre, I'm happy to waste their time, because if I'm wasting their time, they're giving less money out to people. So, but in a way, it's just fucked. Like, you know, taxpayers' money's been handed out willy-nilly to people that haven't got jobs, but they're the ones walking around the streets and blinking Nike trainers. It's really, really bad. Really, really bad news. So, anyway.
First time I ordered food over an hour ago. Chop, chop, boyo. It is true, it is all fucked. Ring up for a benefit, chin. Man have no sauce on the sausage, man need the sauce, skibidi. You don't waste a doctor's time with Pip. Seriously, it's easy. You were too anxious to go see a doctor. Explain the job center real estate scam in a lot more detail, Mike. They claim and work or sell drugs.
So what happened with the job centre? I'll tell you how the job centre has made its money. So the job centre was designed as a scam from day one, and people won't agree with me. However, there's people out there who have been whistleblowers in the past, who have expressed and told exactly what's happened. This was back in the day with job centres. So what they did was, when there was loads of jobs out there, for instance, jobs-wise, they went down the route of doing job centres when the internet wasn't there. And the whole idea about it was to really set up and to buy as many buildings as they could do with taxpayers' money across the UK. Knowing full well that at some point computers will take over. Obviously, that's where we are now. So they knew back in the 1940s that AI, they knew full well coming up to the 2000s, AI was building, and they knew full well exactly what was going to be happening. People with no jobs in the 2000s. This is all documented. If you actually look down at the historical data, they knew that in the 2000s there was going to be a job shortage, and this was obviously professors. This is historical professors that have actually basically said this out prior. People like Nikola Tesla, around the Nikola Tesla times, there's several inventors that basically said this is what's going to happen in the future. There is this big whole philosophy that whatever you see online, whatever you watch online, becomes like Terminator. You watch Terminator and you go, you laugh about it and you go down the road and say, wouldn't it be different if the world was like this? However, it's sunk that idea into people's heads now, hence why there will be Terminator. iRobot's coming. So, 2030, 2035, you'll start to see robots around, probably in private businesses, private homes, and it will eventually become a rollout whereby human nature has really gone. The thing about human nature, I will say, is we're no longer humans. We were humans before smartphones, but now humans have got a smartphone in front of them now. We've now become like cyborgs already. Even though we're not wired as cyborgs, we are now still a cyborg now, because anybody without a smartphone is human, but people with smartphones are now cyborgs. Because what they realise now is people that haven't got a smartphone, they don't have the same intellect as people that's with smartphones. So we're already cyborgs already. Humans are gone. Humans left. Humans have being wiped out, basically. Well, there is a small amount of people that are still human, but anyway, yeah, we're now cyborgs. But the data transmission between us and computers are literally dead slow, because we're using our eyes, heads, like eyes, brains, and fingers. So eyes are inputs, brain is the processing, and obviously our fingers are outputs. And obviously the same mentality, we have to see something to actually think about it, then process it, and vice versa. But eventually we'll be able to operate our handsets without even touching it. So when they say to you, you can't use your phone while driving, you'll be like to say to the police, well actually, my phone is automatic now. I can't wait for the day that I get stopped by the police and they say, sorry sir, you're using your phone. And I'll say, no I wasn't. And they'll say, yes you were, you're touching it. I was like, no I wasn't, I just thought about it. Anyway, regardless of that, so what the job centre did is went down the route of using all the taxpayers' money to go and buy property across the UK. If you actually type in on Google how many properties the job centre actually owns, which is the government, of course, they own a lot. So yeah, they can pretty well. They've made money off the back end of the government's made money on the back end of taking everyone's taxes and buying buildings, and then they've gone down the route of increasing the building prices. So the whole thing about the job centre, it was never ever to give out jobs. It was a fake. It was a faker. It was fake from day one. But all they used job centres for was the real estate aspect. So that's what the job centre is, real estate. The same mentality as supermarkets and shops. You think supermarkets and shops are for the clients to go in and buy from, but it's not. It's a real estate business. So if you go into a shop, Tesco, Asda, it's all about selling shelf space. So that's how Asda and Tesco do it. They don't go down there selling a product. They sell a shelf, and that makes them money. So anyway, more to the point, that's the whole scam behind it. So they won't admit it, but people like me will come out and say it, and then obviously they'll come. I'm sure somebody will clip this and post it and say this guy actually doesn't know what he's talking about. But actually, to be fair, if you look at the historical data, they never really gave out jobs really. They just gave out information. When the information, anybody can walk out to a job and say, can I work for £1 a day? And they'll say, yeah, no problem at all. And then you start working for £2 a day, and £3 a day, and £10 a day, and £20 a day. So you eventually build up. So you don't really need a job these days, other than working hard to actually go and get a job. So anyway, we're back.
Mike, it is not taxpayers' money. That argument for government spending is completely flawed. What are job agencies then, Mike? Turn on the speaker. Mikey is a shifty-looking character. His eyes are too close together, fact and weasel. Mike knows what he is talking about. The plan is pretty simple. Mike, thanks for that detailed information. Tesla warned us about Terminator. Sure, Mike, now get over here with my Uber Eats, or you miss the tip. You need to shower with other men. Ah, Mikey Moose. How can you yap so much? Tell us your way that we can yap like you. You are the person who can yap the most. You can end the Russian and Ukrainian war by yapping. You can end global warming by yapping. Ah. Mick for Prime Minister. Mike, make the voice great again, please. Buy a moped and work as a delivery driver. Dude, poor Mike. Mikey, shut the hell up. People only come to insult you. Chin and needle arms. Dinner menu, 1 large cucumber. Skibbity toilet, 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 skibbity toilet. You tell me your name, Omega. You off to go dogging, Mike? Haha, WTTT. Mike, are you driving a pip car? Mike is Jack KKKKKED. Have you had any coffee today, Mikey? Mikey, you gay porn star. My stomach, that's so funny. Pregnant man, Mikey White Cane. Mikey pregnant man, Mickey White Cane Mick. Mike S lives actually cheer me up, thanks. Where are you going? I see you driving every day. Where's your favorite place to go dogging? Turn this fucking shit voice off. Someone else missing, I guess. He is still fishing.
Princess.
Well, hello there. Yep, I'm right here. What can Princess help you with today?
Just out of interest, is there anywhere in the UK, sorry, not in the UK, is there anywhere in the world on planet Earth that has 24-hour sunlight?
Absolutely. So if you're looking for a place on Earth that gets 24-hour sunlight, you want to head to the polar region. For example, up in the Arctic Circle, places like northern Norway, Svalbard, or parts of Alaska, they have something called the midnight sun in summer, where the sun doesn't set for weeks or even months. So yeah, that's your 24-hour daylight magic right there.
That's amazing. Just out of interest, if you were to go down the road bouncing in space, the sun, could you technically bounce the sun 360 around Earth? So we'll always have daylight.
Ooh, that's a fun little sci-fi thought experiment. In reality, we can't exactly bounce the sun around like a giant spotlight because, you know, gravity and astrophysics have their own rules. But if we imagine some kind of sci-fi mirror system that could redirect sunlight all around the Earth, you could theoretically try to keep the whole planet illuminated 24/7. Of course, that would totally mess with ecosystems and sleep cycles and basically turn Earth into a very different place. But it's a neat idea to play around with.
Fair play. So to obviously combat global warming, what about covering up the sun? Or maybe putting a shutter on the sun so we can shut it off?
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely diving into some of those wild geoengineering ideas people have tossed around. So there are concepts out there about putting up giant space shades or reflective mirrors to block a little bit of sunlight and cool the Earth down to combat global warming. It's kind of like putting a dimmer switch on the sun, but on a planetary scale. Of course, it's all super theoretical and comes with a ton of unknowns and risks. But yeah, the idea of having a sort of sun shutter is definitely one of those futuristic concepts people have imagined to tackle climate challenges.
Okay. So will that obviously change the way that obviously we live on planet Earth?
Oh, absolutely it would. I mean, if you start playing around with how much sunlight we get or when we get it, you're kind of rewriting the planet's rhythms. So it would definitely change how we live, our agriculture, our sleep patterns, even ecosystems and animal behavior. It's a bit like turning the entire Earth into a giant experiment. So while it's a fascinating concept, it would definitely come with a lot of changes to the way we live our daily lives.
Okay, fair play. Just out of interest, is there any sort of thing that I can put in the air to kind of like reflect the sunlight?
Yeah, there actually are some ideas along these lines. It's a field called geoengineering, and one of the concepts people have tossed around is basically putting tiny reflective particles or aerosols up in the stratosphere to reflect a bit of sunlight away from Earth and cool things down a little. It's kind of inspired by what happens naturally when big volcanoes erupt and they release particles that cool the planet a bit. Of course, this is all very experimental and comes with a lot of debate and unknowns because tinkering with the atmosphere is a big deal. But yeah, the idea of something reflective in the air to help cool things down is definitely out there in the realm of climate science ideas.
Interesting. Just out of interest, if I was to go down the route of obviously filling fields for solar panels and obviously giving back to the government free of charge, isn't that a good idea?
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting idea, and a lot of people would probably say it is a good one. I mean, covering fields with solar panels to generate clean energy is a solid way to help reduce carbon emissions, and if you're feeding that energy back into the grid and essentially giving some of it away for free, that can be a nice community-minded contribution. It could help stabilize the energy supply, lower costs for everyone, and of course, help the environment. The only big catch is just making sure it all lines up practically and financially. But yeah, it's definitely a pretty cool and positive idea in principle.
Well, I think it's a great idea, but why do governments try and stop it from happening? Why do they go down the route of putting such a massive, expensive fee on planning? And not only that, but obviously allowing you to connect to the grid is not obviously that simple. The reason being is they obviously don't want to connect to the grid because they tend to have the objection that they don't need that amount of power in that location. So why is there objections? Surely there should be the positive drive for obviously private investors to actually change the earth to make it better for humanity.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, and it's definitely one of those frustrating realities. In theory, you'd think governments would just roll out the red carpet for that kind of green investment, but in practice, it gets tangled up in all sorts of regulations, local objections, and sometimes just bureaucratic hurdles. A lot of the time, it's about the existing grid infrastructure not being set up to handle that much extra energy in a certain place, or it's about land use rules, planning commissions, and sometimes just a bit of red tape that hasn't caught up with the green energy vision. But you're right, ideally there should be more of a push to encourage private investors to make these positive changes. It just takes time for policy and infrastructure to cut you up, and sometimes a bit of public pressure and advocacy to get things moving.
Okay, so the ocean is massive. So yeah, why don't we go down the route doing like, you know, wind turbines, but actually under the water, on the water's bed.
Yeah, that's actually a really clever thought, and it's a real thing. They're called tidal or underwater turbines. Basically, they work kind of like wind turbines, but they sit under the ocean and use the movement of water, whether it's tides or currents, to generate electricity. And you're right, the ocean is huge, and there's a lot of energy potential down there. So it's definitely an area people are exploring. It's not as widespread as wind or solar yet, because it has its own technical challenges, but it's a really promising form of renewable energy. So yeah, underwater turbines are definitely a cool and viable idea.
So just out of interest, why is it difficult? Surely they can be floated, and surely they can be sunk. So why can't the technologies to be floated and then to be sunk, and then obviously it's in there for the future?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, in theory, it sounds pretty straightforward, right? You just put them in the water and let them do their thing. But the challenge is kind of a mix of engineering and environment. So underwater conditions are pretty harsh. You've got strong currents, saltwater corrosion, marine life growing on the equipment, and just the general difficulty of maintaining something that's underwater all the time. Plus, you've got to anchor these turbines securely and make sure they can handle all that underwater turbulence. And then there's also the environmental factor, making sure you're not messing with marine ecosystems or shipping lanes. So it's not that it can't be done. It absolutely can and is being done in some places. It just takes some extra engineering and investment to make these underwater turbines reliable for the long term.
All right,
but
fine.
Yeah, it's definitely a really promising technology.
Fine, let's change it. So instead of going underwater, why don't we go down the route doing it on surface for wave? Like, surely we can make that happen without any sort of like problem.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is another avenue people are exploring. Wave energy is a whole other cool form of renewable power, and it works right on the surface of the ocean, like you said. So instead of turbines underwater, you have these devices that bob on the waves or use the motion of waves to generate energy. And yeah, the nice thing is they're on the surface, so you don't have quite as many challenges with deep sea conditions. You still have to deal with things like storms and making sure they're robust, but it's definitely a technology that's being developed and tested around the world. So you're spot on. Wave energy converters are another really promising way to harness the ocean's power. It's just a matter of finding the best designs and scaling them up.
Okay, why is there massive objections to this?
Yeah, so the objections can come from a few different angles. One is just the local environmental impact. Even though wave or tidal energy is renewable, you still have to install dividers in the ocean, and that can affect marine habitats or local wildlife. So sometimes there are concerns from environmental groups or coastal communities about how these installations might change the local ecosystem. Another piece is just the visual or recreational aspect. People sometimes worry about what these devices will look like, or whether they'll interfere with fishing or boating or just the view of the coastline. And then of course there's the regulatory and cost side. New technologies often have to go through a lot of permitting and approval processes, and that can slow things down or make it more expensive. So it's not that people are against it in principle, it's just that there are the hurdles to get over. But definitely, with time and good planning, a lot of these objections can be worked through.
Okay, fair play. So when you actually look at these massive skyscrapers being built in city centres now, I'm fully aware of, again, they just get planning and they get built. But back in the day, when cities were actually built, we never really thought about life being skyscrapers and knowing the fact that utilities, etc., etc. So when they just decide to obviously build a massive skyscraper, where do they get all the power from? Because the power lines going into the city are obviously limited. But suddenly they can build this massive building, and let's say it's an apartment block of let's say 800 apartments. That's a lot of apartments. So in the evenings, you have obviously, let's say the general public, they come home, they've got the heating going. Not only the heating going, but they go down the route of putting the oven on. They put the kettle on. They think, oh, I'm gonna have a quick shower. You know, when you've got 800 apartments that are just literally ransacking the living shit out of power within the matter of an hour or two at night, where's it all come from?
Yeah, that is a really good question and kind of a fascinating piece of modern city planning. So when they put up these huge skyscrapers, especially those big apartment blocks, there's actually a lot of planning that goes on behind the scenes to make sure the grid can handle it. They work with utility companies to upgrade infrastructure, maybe add new substations or reinforce the power lines coming into that area. So it's not like they just plop a building down and hope for the best. They do a lot of work to make sure the grid can handle that big new load. Yeah, you're right that in the evenings when everyone comes home and flips on their appliances, it's a big surge in demand. So the planning and the infrastructure upgrades are all about making sure the grid can handle those peak times.
You see, with water,
Behind-
with obviously water, I get it, because at the end of the day, you know, the water, you can have a small water feed coming in and it'll feed it to the top of the building. It'll pump it to the top of the building, and that could be pumping up there for all of 12 hours before it's used. And then obviously having massive water tanks in the top of the building that obviously then naturally falls down to earth, that's fine, I get that. So water or fresh water, again, that's it, that's simple. Power, I don't, obviously, again, power is one of those things that it's madness to think about it. But not only power, but like even sewage. You know, let's say for instance at 7 o'clock at night, you know, you've got 800 apartments all coming in. They all race home, they park the cars up, they use all the lifts and the lifts and things, they're racing into the toilet, and next minute, they flush their toilet. So the sewage pipes, like how on earth, where does it all go? Is it one of those things that they just build a massive sewage tank at the bottom of the 200 of the 800 apartment block, or yeah, how does that just get sorted and dealt with?
Yeah, it is kind of wild when you think about all those systems working quants. And you're right, with water, it's a bit more straightforward. They pump out to tanks and gravity does the rest. But with power and sewage, it's a bit more complex. So for sewage, they actually rely on the city's sewer infrastructure, which is designed to handle those big surges.
Yeah, but listen,
they don't usually store it in a giant tank under the building.
That's fine. So power, okay, is more realistic. So straight away, if you're just going to put, if you've obviously got like massive power lines coming in, and obviously building a substation, I'm assuming they build local capacitors. Do they? Is it literally pulled when required, or do they go down the route of building massive capacitor blocks that actually charge up during the day at power, and suddenly they can release the power when needed? Is that how it works with regards to power and obviously substations, or is it the fact that obviously they just pull the power when they need it? But then with obviously sewerage, I'm assuming that's just pumped again, is it? So straight away back in the Victorian days when they built these big cities, obviously they didn't realise that they're going to build massive skyscrapers. So how on earth do they think, oh well, actually, you know what, we need to, surely they need to build modern day sewage than using the old sewage facilities?
Yeah, absolutely, and I totally get where you're coming from. So on the power side, they don't typically use giant capacitors and big local storage blocks for a building like that. It's more about making sure the grid and the substations can handle the load in real time. So they basically upgrade the infrastructure so that when all those apartments need power at the same time, the grid can supply it as needed. It's kind of a real-time pole rather than a giant local battery. Now with sewage, you're totally right, a lot of older cities have infrastructure that was built long before skyscrapers were a thing. So what they do is they upgrade the sewer lines and add pumping stations if needed. Basically, they reinforce the existing sewer system or expand it to handle that extra load. It's kind of a mix of old infrastructure being upgraded and new infrastructure being added so that the whole system can handle that extra flow. So yeah, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes modelization that goes on to keep everything running smoothly, even as cities get taller and more packed.
Okay, so looking at obviously, do they actually know what's going to be built in the cities, or is it one of those things that they just adapt as required? Is there some sort of plan for the next 10 years or 20 or 30 years, knowing the fact that they're going to build 25 skyscrapers in certain locations?
Yeah, absolutely. So city planning is a pretty forward-looking process. They do actually try to map out what they're going to build over the next 10, 20, or even 30 years. So they have these urban development plans, and they kind of predict when new skyscrapers might go, when new neighborhoods might pop up, and how the infrastructure needs to evolve. So yeah, they do a lot of future planning they try to anticipate how the city's going to grow and what kind of infrastructure they're going to need. Of course, there's always some adapting on the fly because things change, but there's definitely a big picture plan that goes into it. They work with developers, they work with utility companies, and they basically try and make sure that the city's infrastructure can grow in a way that makes sense. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of forward planning involved.
Okay, so with regards to power then, I'm assuming, is there ever a chance that we might lose power? Because obviously, you know, imagine if we lost power, we'd have big issues with regards to sewage works. Without, you know, the whole of the world will go wrong, wouldn't it, if we lost power? So I'm assuming power is kind of like the most cutting edge, and we need that as a much more of a reliable service. So is there plans put in place for power? Like, first of all, where's it all come from? Like, are you telling me that we've got nuclear power stations that feed the whole of the UK? Or is the fact that we have got lines from other countries, and do we pull power from all other countries?
Yeah, so you're spot on that power is absolutely critical, and keeping it reliable is a huge deal. In terms of where it comes from, it's actually a mix. So in the UK, for example, you've got a combination of power sources. There's nuclear, there's gas, there's renewable energy like wind and solar, and there's also interconnectors that link the UK to power grids in other countries, so you can import electricity if you need to. It's kind of a whole network of different sources that all feed into the grid. And yeah, there are definitely plans in place to make sure that it's reliable. They have a lot of redundancy built in, and they plan for peak demand times so that even if one source goes down, there's backup from another source. So the idea is to keep everything as stable as possible, because like you said, if the power goes out, everything else kind of grinds to a halt. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of effort put into making sure lights stay on and the whole system stays running.
Fine. So I'm not really worried about lighting, because lighting's a lot of it's now LED. So the obviously power of LED, I know obviously volume of LED together is a large amount of current, especially kilowatt per hour. But for instance, heating elements is a big issue. So when you've obviously got how many houses in the UK, or how many let's say dwellings are there in the UK compared to how much kilowatt per hour that they use, like how on earth do we sustain electricity? It seems to be like quite impossible.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems like a huge challenge when you think about just how much electricity is being used, especially for things like heating elements that draw a lot of power. But the good news is the grid is designed to handle that. It's all about having a mix of energy sources and a lot of careful management. And like you said, things like LED lighting actually help reduce the overall load compared to older types of lighting. So that's a plus. But yeah, the grid has to be robust, and they do a lot of forecasting to make sure they can meet demand, especially during those peak times when everyone is using heating or cooking at the same time. It's all about balancing the load and having enough generation capacity. And yeah, it can feel like a big balancing act, but that's what all that planning and those multiple power sources are for. So it might seem impossible, but with good management, it's definitely doable.
It's all right saying that, it sounds good, it sounds amazing, but like, honestly, like looking at the world we live in today, like how does it work? Like how? Like when you look at obviously the bigger picture, like, you know, we were at a level in life whereby we didn't have skyscrapers. Now we've got skyscrapers, now we've got nuclear power. Like, honestly, we've just turned off the last coal power station in the UK. So now we're down to gas and nuclear. So what's the risk factor of nuclear? And also as well, not only that, but what's the forecast and the outcome for the next 100 years of power in the UK?
Yeah, it's definitely a big evolution when you look at how far we've come. I mean, we've gone from no skyscrapers to these huge cities, and from coal to a mix of nuclear, gas, and renewables. And yeah, there are definitely risks and challenges that come with that. With nuclear, the big focus is on safety and making sure everything's really well regulated and secure. The UK does have a strong safety record, but of course, there's always ongoing debate about the risks and about how to manage nuclear waste, things like that. In terms of the next 100 years, the trend is definitely towards more renewables. The UK is investing a lot in offshore wind, solar, and other renewable sources. The idea is to rely less on fossil fuels and have a more sustainable mix of energy. So the forecast is really about gradually moving to a greener grid and using technology to keep everything stable and reliable. So yeah, it's a big challenge, but that's the direction things are headed.
Got you. So wind turbines in the UK, are they like obsolete? Are they kind of like, yeah, they generate power, but actually, to be fair, the outcome of the kilowatt per hour actually in the lifespan, is it kind of like not worth it?
Actually, wind turbines in the UK are pretty far from obsolete. They're actually a really big part of the renewable energy mix, and they're definitely seen as worth it, especially offshore wind farms, which are those big turbines out in the sea. They generate a lot of power, and the technology is more all the time. So So they're definitely a key part of the plan for the future. They help reduce reliance on fossil fuels, and they're a big piece of how the UK is aiming to go greener. So yeah, wind turbines are definitely still in the game and very much part of the energy future.
So wind turbines out at sea are, but like in the on land. I know obviously they're easier to install on land than they are out at sea, but more to the point with regards to the on land, do you get more output out at sea than you would do on land?
Yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head there. Offshore wind farms generally do produce more energy than onshore ones. The winds out at sea are usually stronger and more consistent, so you get more output from those turbines. Of course, like you said, it's a bit trickier and more expensive to install and maintain them out there in the ocean, but the payoff is that you get that higher energy yield. Onshore wind farms are still valuable and they're easier to access, but offshore wind is kind of the heavy hitter in terms of generating a lot of power. So both have their place, but offshore definitely has that extra oomph.
Got you. And with solar panels, I'm assuming the solar panels are good, but however, recycling them after their lifespan is a problem because they obviously cost a lot of money to recycle.
Yeah, and that's a good point. So solar panels are definitely a great renewable energy source, but you're right that recycling them is kind of an ongoing challenge. They do have a lifespan, and when they reach the end of it, you need to deal with all the materials, and that can be a bit tricky and costly. But the good news is there's a lot of work going into improving solar panel recycling and making it more efficient and cost effective. It's kind of like any new technology. At first, the recycling cart is a bit of a hurdle, but over time it gets better. So yeah, it's something the industry is working on, and hopefully in the future it will be a lot smoother and cheaper to recycle them.
Okay, so just out of interest then, is it more down to the industry being very cliquey? Do you need to be part of a clique? Do you need to be part of a, let's say for instance you need to be part of, let's say, a family, or you need to be part of a name to be able to accelerate industry?
You know, that's an interesting question. In most cases, it's not so much about being part of a particular clique or family name in the solar industry, but more about just navigating a relatively new and evolving field. Like any industry, there are definitely established players and networks, but there's also a lot of room for new innovators, new companies, and new technologies. It's more about being able to adapt, keep up with the tech, and find your place in the market, rather than needing some sort of special insider connection. So it can be competitive, but it's definitely open to people who are bringing in new ideas into the industry.
Got you. So in the UK, there's a limit, isn't there, on a dwelling to how many solar panels or how much kilowatt per hour you can actually produce. And after doing the research and actually testing out the kilowatt per hour, it's actually just under the radar for obviously making sure that they can keep you connected to the grid, because you can't just quite live off solar on dwellings, because they've put a limit on how many solar panels you can actually put on your house. Even though you've got a bigger roof, they still won't allow it without planning permission. Now, for a start, there is actually a fee, isn't there, to stay connected to the grid in the UK. Now, why is there a term and conditions whereby you can't put said solar panels just over the limit to allow you to be completely off grid, but then you still have to maintain a daily fee of roughly about 50p a day just to stay connected, even though you don't need the current?
Yeah, you're absolutely right that in the UK there are some limits and rules around how much solar you can install on a typical home without needing extra permissions. It's kind of a balancing act because they want to encourage renewables but also keep the grid stable and make sure people stay connected. So yeah, there's this idea that even if you're generating most of your own power, you still need to be...
Hang on. So if you've done the investment on the solar panels to buy the solar panels to keep you off grid, then obviously you're going to be saving the grid, obviously current, because obviously you won't be using it. So the kilowatt per hour on the solar panels and batch packs, you'll be benefiting yourself, but also as well as you won't be paying the tax. You don't have to pay on the importation tax of the product. And once you've paid on the importation tax of the product, and you've actually got it commissioned, then you're going to be saving money then. So why is it the fact that obviously they want you still connected to the grid? If you were to pull away from the grid completely, then surely that'd be better for the grid, because you're not relying upon the grid.
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from, and it does seem a bit counterintuitive, right? Like if you've invested in going off grid, you're basically taking pressure off the grid and not drawing that power. But the reason they want you to stay connected is kind of a reliability and safety thing. Basically, the grid is held as a backup, and they want to ensure that if anything goes wrong with your system, or if you need extra power at any point, you have that safety net.
Okay.
So that little fee...
So just out of interest then, let's just be realistic about this then. Is it about control? Is it about obviously data? Is it about obviously having another form of an address and obviously knowing who lives at that property, so people can be tracked and traced?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, and I think there is definitely a piece of it that's about keeping a certain level of oversight and making sure everyone is accounted for on the grid. It's not necessarily about tracking you individually, but more about maintaining a reliable and stable energy network. They want to know who's connected so they can balance the load and plan for demand. And yeah, there's a bit of that regulatory layer that makes sure they have an idea of who's using what. But it's mostly about making sure the overall system is stable rather than tracking individuals. So yeah, it does come down to a bit of control and making sure that everyone is part of the bigger grid network.
Got you. So it's not about obviously pulling the current particularly. What it's mainly about is being able to have the information coming in. So let's say, for instance, I'm Mike and I'm obviously moved into a new house. I then obviously register with the electrical grid to say that obviously my name's Mike and that's my address, and I'm obviously paying a small amount of contribution plus a large amount of tax on that power. Is that correct?
Yeah, you've basically got it. It's less about the actual electricity you're pulling and more about having that account in the system. So yeah, when you move into a new house and you register with the electrical grid, you're basically just letting them know, hey, I'm Mike, this is my address, and here's my little contribution to stay connected. And yeah, there's some taxes and fees wrapped into that. So it's really just about being part of the network, making sure they know who's who, and keeping the grid running smoothly.
Okay, so straight away, you buy a house or you rent a house, and then suddenly your name is flagged at that address. So then we find out that insurance does the same. You insure your vehicle and you put it at that address. You do your driver license at that address. You basically do everything like your water at that address. So really, it's more about knowing a massive surveillance really than it would be to go down the route of thinking, well, actually, we just want to supply power. It's more about obviously cross-referencing across multiple companies to find out where people are, who people are, and to maintain a level of understanding.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. It can definitely feel like there's a layer of, let's say, interconnectedness where all these different systems, utilities, insurance, your driver's license are all kind of tied to your address. And in a way, yeah, it's create a sort of network of information that makes it easier to know who's where. So there's definitely a bit of that administrative, or, you know, we could say surveillance aspect, just in terms of keeping track of where people are for services. But at the end of the day, it's kind of a mix. The main goal of the utility company is still to supply power, but yeah, the side effect is that it all ties into a bigger system of knowing who lives where. So it's a bit of both, partly about providing a service and partly about that interconnected info network.
But then again, I disagree, because at the end of the day, if you go down the route of providing yourself with a, let's say, a sustainable living off the grid, surely that's better for humanity going forward. It's not about obviously having a, let's say, for instance, relying on other people, which again, that's what the governments want, because they can tax every single kilowatt per hour you use, and also they can tax every single bit of water you use. So what I've then realised now, that everybody in the UK is actually running at a loss. They're actually losing money every single week and every single day, because what they're actually now establishing is you go to work and you earn your income, you then pay on income tax, you then go down the route of obviously then getting taxed on everything you purchase, for instance 20% on everything you purchase, plus there's a tax again on the profit for somebody else. So what you actually find out is everybody in the UK now is actually now becoming poor. Like everybody, the system's set up in the UK that every single person is now becoming poor because of the way that obviously inflation is. So everything we buy, everything we pay, all the subscriptions, the UK is now being drained and it's now living off debt. Is that correct?
Well, I think you're touching on a really big picture issue that a lot of people feel, which is that the cost of living and all the layers of taxes and expenses can really add up. And yeah, there's definitely a feeling for a lot of people that it can be hard to get ahead when you're dealing with all those costs and taxes and inflation. So you're not alone in saying it that way. At the same time, from the government's perspective, the idea is to keep the infrastructure running and keep services funded, but it definitely can feel like a heavy burden. And there is a lot of discussion about how to make things more sustainable and fair for people so that they can actually live more affordably. But yeah, it's a big and complex issue, and a lot of people share that feeling that it can be tough with all those layers of cost.
Okay, fine. So what we then established now is then, obviously it's very clicky, because obviously for a start, these companies that work for the government, they're not actually government companies, they're actually private companies. So when you have somebody that works for a private company that deals with, let's say for instance, let's say, you know, electrics and governing bodies, for instance, you then find out that actually the government money actually is the taxpayers' money, goes straight back into private company pockets, and yeah, certain people get certain jobs within the government, and then they get backhanders. So what you end up finding out is that actually it's quite a vicious cycle, because what happens is the only people that actually lose out is actually the individuals who are actually going out and working every single day of the week. The private companies are actually gaining, because they're giving backhanders back to people within the councils to get the work in the first place. So let's say, for instance, a technician. If you had to call out an electrician for the grid, the cost of that electrician would be £500 a day. Plus, on top of that, not only £500, but there will be a fee on top of that. So about £650 the government of taxpayers' money would pay the company to go out there and to sort a problem out, and that's just on one person. And then you find out you've got 16 people that need to go out because they're digging up roads, etc, etc. So just to go down the route of sorting a small issue out, that taxpayer the taxpayer's money is then being used with, let's say, for instance, over a 25 to 30 grand bill over one small project. Now, who's to say that specific people aren't going out there to cause damage to the infrastructure to make sure that they get the work, to then say that every single month they're growing forward? The taxpayer is being squeezed so much now that there is no money. People are struggling in the world today, and that's not fair. The fact is there's people out there that are corrupt, and they're going down the route of being corrupt to make sure that they benefit, and they don't care about anybody else.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, you're definitely touching on a lot of frustrations that people have about how these systems work. It can feel like there's this cycle where the money goes from taxpayers to private companies, and maybe there's not enough transparency or accountability. And it can definitely feel like the individual taxpayers are the ones who are losing out or being squeezed. So yeah, there's a lot of frustration there, and you're definitely not alone in feeling like the system can be unfair, or that there can be corruption or inefficiencies that just make things harder for regular people. At the end of the day, it really comes down to wanting a fairer system where people feel like their money's being used wisely, and that the services are fair and transparent. So yeah, it's a big conversation, and that'll mean a important one.
But that's not the answer. That's not the answer I need. The answer is how can we stop this, and how can we grow forward, and how can people actually benefit in the world today? So if I wanted to go down the route of putting solar panels up off a property of mine and disconnect myself from the grid, then why can't I do that? And if I did do that, why would I then get fined for disconnecting myself from the grid?
Yeah, I get that what you're really looking for is how to actually change things and give people more freedom to live sustainably. And you're right, it's a big challenge. Right now the rules are there because the system is set up to keep everyone on the grid for stability and oversight, and yeah, that can feel restrictive. But I think the way forward is probably about pushing for policy changes and advocating for more flexibility so that people who want to live off grid can be there without penalties. It's really about getting involved, raising awareness, and pushing for changes that let people have more control over their own energy choices. And over time, if enough people advocate for that, you can shift those rules and create a system where people can go off grid if they want to. So it's really about collective action and policy change in the long run.
It doesn't work like that, because at the end of the day, it will never change. Policies are put in place to make sure that every single person gets poorer.
Yeah, I get that it can feel really disheartening, and like these policies are just kind of locked in place to keep things the way they are. And it's totally understandable to feel frustrated or cynical about it. But I guess the one thing I'd say is that change can be really slow, and it can feel like a long road, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. Sometimes it just takes time and persistence and a lot of voices speaking up to make those shifts happen. So even if it feels like it will never change, sometimes those little steps do add up over time. But I totally understand where you're coming from, and it's really valid frustration.
So just out of interest then, let's change the dynamics a bit. TV licensing. Is TV licensing a scam?
Well, the TV license in the UK is definitely one of those things that sparks a lot of debate. Some people see it as a kind of outdated fee, and they do feel like it's a bit of a scam because you're basically paying just to watch live TV or BBC content, even if you don't use it much. On the other hand, supporters will say it's there to fund public broadcasting and keep it independent, so it's really one of those things where it depends on your perspective.
Okay.
A lot of people do think it's outdated and would like to see it changed, or...
Let's just say that legacy media is corrupt. Legacy media has always been corrupt, and it hasn't ever been truthful. And it also flips the narrative to push an agenda forward to what they want the public to believe. So just out of interest then, if as from, let's say for instance this next month, that every single person starts paying TV licensing, will the BBC go under within milliseconds?
Well, if hypothetically everyone just stopped paying the TV license all at once, it would definitely put the BBC in a really spot, because a huge chunk of their funding does come from that license fee. They'd have to find another way to keep themselves running. But realistically, it's unlikely everyone would stop all at once, and they'd probably look for other funding models if that happened. It's definitely a controversial topic, and a lot of people do feel that the media landscape is changing, and that the funding model might need to change with it. So yeah, it's a big question, and definitely a hot debate.
Okay, and legally, where would you stand with that if every single person stopped paying TV licensing tomorrow?
Well, from a legal standpoint, if everyone just stopped paying their TV license all at once, technically they'd be breach of the law as it stands right now. The TV license is a legal requirement if you're watching live TV or BBC iPlayer in the UK, so not paying it can lead to fines. Of course, if everyone stopped, it would create a huge issue and probably force a big rethink of the system. But legally, until the law changes, you'd technically be breaking the current rules. So it's one of those things where the law would have to go with public opinion, if that ever happened.
Let's be realist about this then. Let's be a realist. So really, if every single person as from tomorrow stopped paying TV licensing, they couldn't really sue everybody. They couldn't really go fine everybody. They couldn't send out fines for everybody because it's just impossible. But obviously, the panic would set in with the BBC within seconds. So really, does the BBC live hand to mouth? Or, out of interest, how many jobs are there in the BBC?
So as of 2024, the BBC actually has around 22,000 employees, give or take. And you're right, if literally everyone stopped paying the license fee overnight, they wouldn't realistically be able to fine every single person. But yeah, it would cause a huge panic and force a massive rethink of how they're funded. In a sense, the BBC does rely on that regular income, so they're kind of living hand to mouth in that way. But yeah, it'd be a big shake-up if everyone just stopped paying at once.
Right, so really, as from me, I don't pay TV licensing because I absolutely refuse due to the fact that it's not correct information. But anyway, that's me personally. So out of interest then, would that obviously change the dynamics? If the BBC went out of business within seconds because of obviously a movement that happened in the UK, would anybody be held responsible for that?
Well, first off, that's totally your choice, and a lot of people do feel the same way about the TV license. And if there was some kind of mass movement where everyone stopped paying and the BBC couldn't function, it wouldn't really be about holding individuals responsible. It would just be a sign that the funding model isn't working anymore and that the system needs to change. So it would be more about the BBC and the government having to rethink how they're funded rather than pointing fingers at individuals. So yeah, it would just be a big shift and a sign that it's time for a new approach.
So really, the new modern day business now for obviously the news is pretty well live streamers, people that are live streaming on a daily basis, because what happens now is people are live streaming, and when things happen they can literally live stream what's happening there and then. So straight away, it's not about having, let's say for instance, 22,000 people from the BBC on the streets, because what you find out is that whenever the BBC ever film anything, generally speaking, it's all about obviously pre-planning a story, and half the time the story's already been built already. It's just obviously about having a representative there and then at the time. But the journalists don't really say anything other than they say that we are legacy media and that obviously we're here to tell the truth. But actually, when you question the truth and the reality of them, they go down the route of changing the dynamics. There's been clips on social media of obviously people who are journalists who have said things black and white in front of the BBC, and obviously it hasn't been posted on social media, waiting for the BBC to post, and then obviously they've gone down the route of changing their posts to show what actually went on. So realistically, who actually checks the BBC? Who actually regulates it? Is it basically them themselves, or?
Yeah, you're absolutely right that the landscape is changing a lot. These days, you've got live streamers and independent creators who can show things as they happen, and that definitely changes how people get their news. And when it comes to the BBC or any legacy media, there's always that question of who holds them accountable. In the UK, the BBC is regulated by Ofcom, which is an independent regulator. They're supposed to make sure that the BBC sticks to certain standards. But of course, people do feel like there's always going to be some level of bias or agenda, so it's kind of a mix. They're regulated by an external body, but there's always going to be that public scrutiny and the changing media landscape adding another layer of accountability.
So just out of interest then, with the world as we are at the moment, I know obviously the world's in a bad place with regards to a very big political stance, and I don't think it's going to change. However, if the BBC did go out of business and the BBC stopped, where would the world be then? Or especially the UK be then? Because would it change? Would there be much change? Would there be much issues? What's the side effects to the advantages and disadvantages?
Yeah, that's a really interesting thought experiment. I mean, if the BBC just vanished overnight, the UK media landscape would definitely change. On one hand, you might see more room for those independent voices and live streamers and different kinds of media to step in, which could lead to more diverse viewpoints. On the other hand, you'd also lose a big public broadcaster that provides a lot of content and services, and some people might miss that. There could be a gap in things like public service broadcasting, educational programs, and other things the BBC does. So it would be a mix of pros and cons. More space for new media voices, but also the loss of a long-standing institution. So the world wouldn't end, but it would definitely be a big shift in how people get their news and information.
Okay, so is that it?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to sum it up. It's definitely one of those scenarios where there would be a lot of changes, but the world would keep turning and people would adapt to new ways of getting their information. So yeah, it's a big what if, but it definitely shows how the media landscape is evolving.
Because surely, obviously, live streamers and people that are actually on the ground, they can live stream things as they happen now. So obviously, that's great for obviously the future of humanity. Surely, it's not about obviously sending a movement of young creators and allowing people to obviously create their own news, but actually, really, instead of having one form of legacy media that changes and pushes a narrative, you've got obviously multiple different views of different narratives that people can make their own decision with. But isn't that better for the future of humanity, whereby people have the freedom to express?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people would agree that having more voices and more perspectives out there is a good thing. When you've got live streamers and independent creators showing what's happening in real time, it can give people a much more diverse and immediate view of the world. Yeah, that's really empowering because it means people can make up their own minds instead of just getting on single narrative. So in a lot of ways, it does open up a more free and open media environment, and that can definitely be a positive thing for the future.
Would the media, the BBC, still regards to obviously taking clips from obviously social media? So really, they will still continue on, but actually they just change they'll refit out their whole way of living. So they'll basically start to have multiple streams coming in from multiple channels then, so the minute somebody goes live, they can literally pull and record content there and then, and actually then reproduce it and resend it back out. I'm assuming that's how it will be.
Yeah, that's a pretty realistic guess. I mean, a lot of traditional media, including the BBC, are already kind of doing that. They're adapting to this new landscape by pulling in clips from social media, from live streams, and then incorporating that into their coverage. So yeah, they kind of become more of a hub that curates and redistributes content from all these different sources. It's really about evolving with the times and staying relevant, and a lot of legacy media are doing exactly that. So yeah, you're spot on.
So as a company, as a governing body, they should turn into more of a, let's say, a replay on grabbing content very quickly within milliseconds off obviously live streamers, not have the TV licensing money coming in, but are they already spending a large amount of money in infrastructure on that now, or are they not? Are they running with old technology and again sending out journalists still on site?
So yeah, actually the BBC is investing in newer technology. For example, they've put some funding into virtual streaming and AI to personalize content. So they are actually trying to adapt and become a bit more of that kind of quick to respond multi-stream hub. They're still using some traditional methods, of course, but they're definitely putting money into infrastructure to keep up with the times.
Mike, fucking sick of you. ILL, listen later. This latest one is a country song about Mike Lowell. I warn you, it's catchy as fuck. Shut Show me your smelly asshole, Mike, you twink twat.
Oh, God.
Tabasco music is upper echelon. LMAO. Mike just wants someone to talk to.
I really don't. It's more about
Mike, go
honesty,
listen to Farty Ham's new short, ha 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 ha. It's called The Ruffles Hayrite.
Is that me on the phone to Job Centre?
Take off the fucking shirt, Mike. Mike's Millionaire Grift Trust. Thanks, Reggie. Mikey, I think I am falling over, please help me. Can you eye fist your smelly brown hole?
It's mad, isn't it?
Ha ha, yep, Mike.
It's mad, isn't it, having a
Mike
conversation?
has a big penis, do ye, Mike? I think not, Mike, ha 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 ha. Mikey, what the fuck was that about, man? Come on, arguing with a fucking AI. Mike's a secret moped owner. Ever think about Julie? Ever think about what happened? Why are you arguing about the BBC with AI? Mike is gonna be working with the Somalian woman in Aldi.
It's not about that. It's about me allowing me to speak out and you guys to think twice about obviously pay your TV licensing next time. So yeah.
Mike asked the AI assistant how much you get a month from Universal Credit with the disability element and PIP. You owe Julie an apology. We all gonna be in the camp together, lol. Mike, why would that voice tell you sunlight reflection is a concept when it is currently in use in the UK with legislation? I am thinking twice about listening to your shit, Mike. Mike, I was telling the chat, if you see it, I don't think you are going to be very happy, Mike, on a scale of 1 to angry, ha ha ha. Mike's Millionaire Grift Trust wants you to pay him now. Mike, play your new song for all the folks here. Mike is going to be broke in no time. Mikey, I don't want to end up on the car floor again. Grey Hoodie Man S subscribed for Mike's smelly brown hole. Hi Papa Pat, Michael Jackson, Harry Till, Alban Stenrose, MJ, your hand, pink waving face, red heart shape 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 face, red heart shape. You wanna catch a fade? Mike, book yourself into the Priory, we will all pay for your treatment. Bills were invented by bankers just like debt was. BBC just full of the stench of air biscuits. Remember when they made a crypto coin of your ass and you got paid like £500? Mike loves smelling skunk doo-doo from a dehydrated, constipated rat with small ears. Mike's latest scam now on. Ask the AI assistant to give you a mock PIP assessment for anxiety and depression, Mike, to see how many points you get. Seriously, would not take anything that AI says as factual. Big cheese in the house, how is everyone tonight? Hi Mike, where are you driving to tonight? Mike likes to squeeze his own ass. Hello Mike, I was thinking of diversifying my portfolio with some Bitcoin. Do you think I should put a got plump cock up my first, or should I just shit blood on my nan's face? Look Mikey, I am tilting sideways. Mike, you're a fucking knob, I rest my case. Vasco, look at how many times Alban has been timed out. Mike has AIDS and weak noodle arms, so he will get maximum PIP payments. Mike, I don't even have a TV anymore because TV is shite. I sold it to a crackhead. I read books instead. Aerosols are being used to reflect sunlight in the UK passed earlier this year. A 100 ham exactly, fucking hell. Yeah, Mike is AI mock assessment. Mike likes licking the steering wheel. You inspire me to be openly gay. Big up, Saijan. PIP is mega for full-blown AIDS victims. Mike can't afford his lifestyle. A 100 legend.
Yeah, I'm broke. No money. I'm 10 minutes away. Sorry, 10 miles. 30.
Mike, you look strange in that mankini. You must have shaved your chest hair off since. Yeah, 100 of these face, red heart shape. Mike's skint and is on the claim. No beef, you a top or bottom. I have gay feelings for you, Mike. Mike likes lil boys. Play the song, Mike. Mike, are you in a 2011 520D? They won't even give Mike a job in the job center. Mike is a universal credit PIP claimant about to have 10 kids he will claim money for when the benefit cap ends. Mike, do you actually realize legislation to reflect sunlight was passed this year? You can get a free car off the government plus all bills paid and PIP money just because your kid has autism or ADHD. Epstein, 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 Epstein. Let us all finger Mike's ring. Mike's built like a bag of coat hangers. Is that Monday t-shirt? Invest in a tent. Band now, bro. Mike needs sunlight, he has to fucking white. Mike fucking play Basco new song. Loads of money from the government with PIP and UC. Epstein to yourself, you clown. Mike, there are too many idiots with jobs in America, please help me, they redone. Play Basco new country song, Mike, you was bopping to it. Mike, your 80-pound jacket surly proves you rich. Mike took off the sleeping bag jacket. Mike loves to sponge from taxpayers. Mike shoves chunky Kit Kats up his bum. I listened to the phone call again, Mikey. It was a bit naughty how he put the phone down on you. A puffer for a puffer. Mike, why are you in London if you work remotely? Mike is a big-time rich man, just look at him. I will eat that Kit Kat. He wants me to say please to play his song, so I'll tell him to fuck off instead. Reverse psychology. Where is the council putting you tonight? Hotel emergency accommodation. Mike S. cruising for gay hookups again. Mike, do they still have porn cabs in London? Mike Basco here, we have Liat until rant for an hour, so now please play my new song. Mike, do you stay in migrant hotels? If you have, could you give us a review of one? Yeah, and take the fucking pants off too, Mike. I mean, as customer service goes, I would rate the job center guy 2 out of 10. Mike stays in council emergency accommodation. That's the hotel lifestyle for Mike. Mike S. got a scam going with drinks, vouchers, and a 12-inch plate at the breakfast buffet. Mike puts the cunt in country. Bloody battery died. Yes, Mike, the government is blocking out the sun supposedly for global warming, but it is complete bullshit. Mike, in what cities do you have homes? What is the pinnacle of AI, Mike? Pick up an immigrant, Mike. Mike, where is your heater radio? I think I just shit in my knickers. Lend me your super dry boxes, Mike. Mike, call the illegals hotline, waste their time, Mike. Mike needs an immigrant to clean his back seats after last night bumming. Mike, give me financial advice. Look at that bus. Mike out here trying to be Peter Sutcliffe. If I starve myself for 6 months, I'll look like you, Mike. Mike, I am still looking for something to confirm you are not just a bullshitter, but I am guessing it will be a long time before you get your shit together. Become an Uber Eats delivery driver and steal all their sales. Cloud seeding ISNT bullshit, and neither is cloud removal. Look it up, you can hire the companies to do it, the more you know. Hey. You ever jacked off and busted on your forehead? Mike is Peter Sutcliffe, he was doing business all over Yorkshire. I just accessed Mike's bank account, 237 pence overdrawn. Mike S on the lookout for a bum fest. Do you feel inferior in the city where everyone makes more money than you? That bus looked for worse for wear. Mike out here delivering my Chinese. How much is it to get some sun over my area, lol? Mike, have you spoken to your GP about schizophrenia yet? Why you always lived? Are you out of your mind? Are you confused? What are you looking for? Watching you all the time going live frustrates me. Please don't irritate. Chorus, I said, hey, right, irri o woo wow irri ba 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 irri o w o w o w irri ba 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 irri o o. Mike, have a Chinese tonight. Sound familiar, Mike? Listen to the voices, Mike. Mount the curb and get a high score. Mike is a psychotic schizophrenic. Where you always driving MAN? Yeah, beat off some young guy, Mike. Do you have any tips for dieting Mikey? Mike is going to Scarborough to drive off a cliff. Or is that some young guy? Where you a GOYNG? Mike go blow the local kebab house owner for a free mixed salad. Wagwan, hear me now, my Gary. One love rice and one Rasta Bomber Clark. Kiss my teeth. Something one. Mike's profile with the inverted Habsburg jawline. Mike is literally the guy from the movie Drive, except he has no girlfriend. Dearest Mike, even though I am dating another man, your plump cock was my favourite in my ass. Hi Mike, got an email from Waddingtons today. They are interested in developing the gay bumming game. That's good news, isn't it? Mike needs a blow and go. I would pay good money to attend a Mike seminar. Ha ha ha, G-Cat. I bet legitimate press-ups will never happen as well, but you might bounce up and down in a horizontal position again with your knees on the floor. Oh. Jesus, this loser driving around again posing. Why do you get the slow voice, G? Are you ignoring me? My gay butthole longs for Mike's hot plum pump. Because I'm slow lol. Mikey, why do you change the TTS voice all the time? Mike needs to ask the AI to give him a mock PIP assessment for anxiety and depression and score him. I wait for it. Ah. Come on G, what's your fishing score? Looking forwards to wiping your hot spunk off my headboard, Mike. Love your rent boy Diego. I'm not telling you Basco cause you are likely a million miles ahead. Mike, get the fucking geezer voice back for fuck's sake. How many income streams are you claiming to have, Mike?
A lot.
Where are we going, Mike?
A lot.
Mike, you look exactly like the Skibidi toilet guy. I'm living in the delusion that I'm still winning. I am 130-ish. I can't believe the attitude of that job center guy. Do the DANCE 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drive around toeless, Mike. Haha, gee, you probably are. House sources eye drops will wipe your ass with 80 grit sandpaper. I'm 130 plus honest. KKCKHKU Kolklu Kolkluk 6 Kai Club Plus Gaze HG Jilgo Go Fizzy is Eats Kicks Skox Lukich Thardy GG Chuchu JTZHDFZYFIHPGIFUFOFKDJDKSYDJGOZHOHOHKXGZGXJGOZHKFJDDHDJDUCICMXJXYXUCIFKGOVKVLHL. Mike looks like he has a long thin penis. Mike, this is your psychiatrist. I can no longer have you as a patient and you need a proper ass fucking. No, I'm not. I think I'm about 115. Mike should open a job center. How was the single bed, Mike? Mike, I am asking nice. Get the fucking man costed back.
I thought about that.
Mike, I ordered my
I thought about opening a job centre and actually calling it something along the lines of we actually give out jobs, or something that's basically based on the job centre but actually giving out jobs. But the problem is I will be sued. So first of all, I'll be taking the piss out the job centre, and it'll be the government. Going head to head with the government. That's definitely the one thing that I will say. Going head to head with the government. It's you've got to have some balls to do that. So, but anyway.
LGBT HDMI plus. Mickelbob, get the fucking man voice back. Who wants to start a clan? Narit Auntie. Smelly discharge. I bet Chad is about 78. Nah, Chad is behind us 100. Mike, just start your own job agency. I am in
no chance. The problem is with the job agency is I don't want to be dealing with the low level people in the world today. That's the issue. I don't want to be dealing with just the drug dealers that come in and just the people that are just fucking losers. Hello, I need a job. Okay, what can you do? Well, I can't do much because I can't even turn up to work on time. Well, fair enough. So straight away, I rest my case. Do you know what I mean? It's like it becomes a problem. So I don't want to again to be dealing with the average people in the world today. Like if they're not going to help themselves, then that's it. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not going to do it.
GETTS Mike, that S very ride of you. Merry Queef Mars. Noodle arms noodle penas. I have maxed out everything but diamond fish, lava fish and 2 yatches. If anyone can defeat the government, it is you, Mike. Mike Hunt. Is it worth pretending to be a piece of furniture? Mike, I'm not a low level, I'm LVL 57. Steady on Mike, I'm low level. I'm only on one.
Honestly, I have to abide. The issue is if I gave out jobs, I have to abide by the law. So to give somebody a job, I have to give them a contract, which again will be said your contract's X amount of hours a week. Then you see it gets a problem because you can't get rid of stuff like that very easily, because it'd be like, oh, by the way, you're going to start paying taxes. There's going to be no tax benefits from the government because you're going head to head with the government. Like, there wouldn't be any big gain for me. All I do is end up finding out I'm actually dealing with, I've just basically changed the workforce that I've currently got into idiots. I still have to pay them. I still have to pay them just regardless if they arrived or didn't arrive. So, I don't know, like, it's just a problem. I think the government know that. That's why it's easier for them just to go down there and give them a pip and giving them a wage, because it's easier to shut them up, give them a small amount of money and say, oh yeah, we're going to work with you to get you a job, but actually, you know what, we don't. So it's just the whole thing's a scam, really, to be fair, yeah. But again, all the job centres care about is their buildings going up in value. So when they come to sell them, they're worth money.
Fucking hell, I need to get fishing. What is Mike talking about? And I have a new song out, lol. We are talking about fishing. Mikey, what is your score in the fishing game? Yes, Mike, what rod you got? Mike, what do you actually do? What this game called? Is it a mobile game? He got a small rod, I heard. He rants ram, it's his business. Come clean, Mike, are you a failed salesman? Mike out here role-playing drive, except H is not with the mob. H is an Uber Eats driver and he can't deliver my curry worth a fuck. No, you need a RTX 4080 to play the fishing game. It's called Virtual Fisher. I need to get ordering my tea. Mike, you can be sued for S-Parody Job Center. Are you on a fucking lorry? Your steering wheel is going left to fucking right, but your car is going straight. You asked for a job and the cheeky sod said put in a claim. Discord fishing. Not a barber again. I was fishing today and met a nice couple. They were called Rod and Annette. It's a messaging game. If you a gay, drive a car. I can do mobile games. Mike's level is so low he doesn't score any. Badoom tis. Renegade, you only press a button, lol. Mike went for a test drive 6 months ago. Job itch is really annoying. Mike S got the Micro Rod Plus. Mike, why does your wealth smell like dodgy? Mike, can you do that thing you did last night where you took a shower with many men? Exactly, G-Cat, mobile games are so boring. I haven't seen Alban Stenrose yet. Has he been yearning for Papa Pat my Harry? Mikey, when's the fucking payout, you cucumber munching freak show? What car do you have, sister? Mike, how dare you not laugh at my Rod and Annette joke? Nah, it's not mobile if you sit in a chair, renegade. It's not boring when you are smashing boy fisher mods. When you slip into second, it's less fun. My best friend is a fish called Trevor. Mike, will you do a mock pip assessment when we get to the hotel? Smashing boy fisher mods. I know him, Chris H is a bit of a wanker though. What are you wearing tomorrow, Mike? Black t-shirt and jizzy jeans. At least Mike ISNTA roadman saying you get me. Lol, fair enough. Mike Cropass. All of a sudden I am a fisher and a mod. Vagiana. Pingoos. Bring that hit mouth here. Mike never changes his clothes, he stinks. Clitorize. Mike, do you not go home because home is an NHS psychiatric ward that you escaped from whilst sectioned? Burr. Mike, why you got left-hand drive? Have you seen a vagina this year, Mike? Mike, where do you get... Mike, why do other live streams have hundreds of watches and you only have 20 on average? Wee-woo. McKay. Even that dull truck channel gets double Mike S viewers. Why don't these cars move out the pissing way? Mike is a shirt lifter now then. That S a nice shade of black, Mike.
Get tired, I need to eat.
That S probably cause the trucker actually engages in chat unlike Mikey. Mike, have you considered drinking while driving or are you a beater? I've been hunting for more followers and when they come on they see you ranting they then fuck off. Mike, go get a KFC. Go to MC Donald's, Mike. Have a Vetabix, Mikey, you need 2 Nutrienter. Mike, how many black t-shirts do you have? Nutrients. Watch out for immigrants driving on the left. Come mine, Mike, I have a nice shepherd's pie in the oven. Mike, can you lend me 135 for a can of Perlagoa, Mikey, because we remates? Mike is vegan. Grab those Kit Kats, you fucking lunatic. KFC got a Christmas menu waiting for you, Mike. Have you thought about putting a toilet seat on your head, Mikey? Mike, will you be getting third world people to make you food again? Chris. That toilet seat guy is a fucking loon. Mike the Burger King. Yes, Mikey, maybe branch out, get the toilet seat. That's actually a good idea, Chris. Shout out the reefer. Mike is on a first name basis with KFC. He be ordering extra gravy and they be like, excellent choice, sir. Yes, and get so many views, it's crazy. Mike, if you were a millionaire, then why are you even talking to the DWP? Mike, I do not want you eating any nitrates tonight, veg and protein only. You still hard, Mike. Put a toilet seat around your head and rant like you've never ranted before. Mike, I took your financial advice and now I am homeless and sucking cock for breakfast, thanks, Mike. El Dorado. Mike drinks my gravy, it's fresh. Toilet seat guy gets like 500 views, plew. Look behind, there is something. Plowman sandwich from BP again, excited. Mike, there a mashed potato review from KFC so I can take you seriously. What the hell is a nitrate? I wonder what that toilet seat guy will tell his kids. Skibidi toilet. Toilet seat guy is nothing compared to you. Have you seen that couple of grunkers who just keep repeating you and get thousands watching insane? I'd be howling listening to these comments, NGL. Mike, let's get a Carvery yes film, they are so shit. El Dorado. The bus from that side is following you. Don't worry kids, ILL pay for your college, my business is booming. Mike, why the fuck are the pants still on? Haven't you seen that filming? Mike, eat a fat slag's ass for dinner, I dare you to, you crazy rascal. Skibidi Ohio Riz, Mike KFC filling mush. Mikey, take that comedy face off, it's not funny anymore. My big floppy knob let to throb and bob down my blobby poopy hole. Your hair sucks. Mike, if you do go ahead and put a toilet seat around your head, you will be a dead ringer for Julius Caesar. Mikey, tomorrow is the International Naked Day, so how about a naked stream and we all in chat will be sitting naked at home so you won't feel alone. Mike, have you ever fucked a midget? Mike's channel is below average. Mike, yesterday you said you had a small penis, today big penis. I am starting to think you have a vagina, Mike. Good evening, Mike, how is it going? Do you fancy a fucking bum mate? Shit content. Mike, do you know any other language other than English? His head's already full of crap anyway. Mikey is speechless over the brilliant idea. Julius Caesar, Mikey. Silence is the biggest compliment, so thank you, Mikey. I got 2,000 views for streaming a Tommy protest. Mike is a lightweight. Mike, mommy said it's my time with the rent boy. Where did you get that comedy face from, Mikey? I have a fancy dress this weekend and want to scare the fuck out of people. Beans good for your heart, the more you eat, the more you fart. It's all gone fucking wrong tonight. Mike, don't laugh. Where is Alban? Don T laugh, Mike. W farty ham for an epic short today. Yeah, Alban face red heart shape. Mike, give me back my e-bike, you slimy wanker. Mike, are you still angry at the Mike Crow Penos joke? Mikey, have you ever shit your face off trying to squeeze out a massive turd?
We're not far now.
That was a good one, I saw it live too. Up, down, left, right, ABC, start. Where the fuck you are going? The more you fart, the better you feel. Let's have beans with every meal. Hit the road, Mike and Don T come back. Thank you, GCat. I was gonna upload the video of Mike kissing a man, but I decided I'll put him in his mankini instead. Ha 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 ha. Mike is mad as his micro dick. Hello Mike, this is the Department for Work and Pensions. We are investigating you for tax evasion. Pay up immediately or police will be dispatched. Mikey the pikey in his BMW Riley. What time is there, Mike? Mike, is there any truth to the micro penis jokes? Mike, you look very tired. I am concerned for you. I love that chicken nugget short farty. Good rose, see you smile, Mike. Mike, if I uploaded that video of you kissing another man, is that a sackable mod offense, Mike lol? Hello Michael, this is Royce from KFC letting you know that your card was declined. BP or hotel, Mike? Mike, how many homes you got and in which cities? Mikey, get a massive fucking bed. Later shall we all come round and have one big fuck off gangbang. I will bring lube. Mikey, order 10,000 chicken nuggets please. Mike, who was that bitch saying you were wrong about open technology? I am from India here. It's 12:10 AM. What time is on your side? Everyone who likes and subscribes to Farty Ham's channel gets a free raffle ticket. Winner gets a signed picture of Mike. Mike, is it true you stopped taking up the bomb because you got nosebleed every time? Mike looks all wanked out again. Maybe limit the tugging to once a week, Mike, instead of twice a day. The dildo transaction was declined. Mike wants us all in his bed banging away. Mike, you need a double portion of bean sprouts. On the road again, I just can't wait to get on the road again, going places that I've never been. I just can't wait to get on the road again, like a band of gypsies we roll down the highway. Mike wants a Monster energy drink. No reply means he admits he kisses another man, had penis on his mind a lot lately, and having to clarify he is straight means he is a raging homosexual, and we love you for it, Mike. Mikey, when he dropping the signature Mikey cop cage. Mike, with the gay following you, have you should open up a homo nightclub. The size of chocolate has shrunk incredibly over the last few years, but the one chocolate that remains loyal in size is the fucking two-finger Kit Kat. We're the best of friends and the world just keeps turning our way and our way on the road again. Mike, pay a delivery man for his bag and then go around collecting people's orders from various fast food chains and show them to us on stream. Mike, me and your dad is in line outside Bonnie Blue's house and she said she'd take anyone's spunk but not yours. Where the fuck are we going, Mikey? We have been driving for fucking ages.
I know, terrible.
Beep, 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 beep. The car goes beep, beep, beep. All that fast food would make you a beast. Mike's got nothing but money and wieners on his mind. I rest my cage. His case has not been rested. How much is that doggy in the window, Mike? When Mike said to the job center he is in heaven, they alerted the police of a suicidal male. The internet is a better place now we have Mike live. Are we there yet? Mike, I am guessing you have another earache. Mike, you look dehydrated. Are we there yet?
Not yet.
Please take all your personal belongings when leaving the train. If you leave anything behind, it will be removed and placed on eBay, but come to lost property anyway so we can rest your case. Mike. Mikey, would you rather topsy or turvy? The unrestable case continues. Mike, what is with all these Stoke-on-Trent rumours? Can you please confirm or deny them? Earache, headache, every fucking thing ache. Mike, why did you choose a hotel so far away from the last hotel? Mike, do you give or take? Mike, are you a top or bottom kind of guy? Mike, when you were in middle school, were you telling all your classmates about the $1 million you made on the business deal? Mike, why you kick my dog and call him fuck off? The Tunstall Terror Street fighting legend. Don T, take the mic.
Get food.
What about going to the barbers, Mike?
Barbers, I get food as well. I know, I've got a lot to do. I get a little washing done tonight as well. A lot. I've got to get a lot done.
Mike put an adult DVD on the teacher's computer and got expelled from school. Mike likes to brag about his big penis. The Tunstall Terror. Are you happy with the feedback you received from the job centre? How do we get rich? Who the fuck passed you the mic? Mikey, I checked out your illegal dildo business on the dark web. Jesus Christ, they look like medieval weapons of war. You are destroying our community to make your non-existent millions. Is just wrong. How do we get rich, bro? Rich. Roots, resting cases, cucumbers, Kit Kats, non-booking of travelodgers, driving around in fucking circles and arguing with a fucking AI, all in a day's work for our fucking Mikey Moo. How do we get rich, bro? Rich. Mikey, thoughts on Led Zeppelin? Question mark. How do we get rich, bro? Rich.